Hello everybody, welcome back to a brand new episode of our iRacing NASCAR AI Cup Series career mode here on the channel. Hope you're all having a great day today. It's a brand new round of the playoffs. The round of 8 starts at Las Vegas Speedway. You can see the points on your screen. We have some work to do. Ryan Blaney, he's actually at the top over Kyle Larson now because of all the stage wins he's been accumulating here in the first couple of rounds of the playoffs, and he's been having a history of having a really strong first race of each round so far, but we are over 20 points below the cut line just to even start the round. So yeah, we got some work to do, to say the least. You might notice something different now in the quality options. You can now watch the videos in 1440p from here on out. I've finally made the upgrade to get a 1440p monitor. I've also got a new PC that is supposed to be coming this week. We will see if that happens or not, but let me know if you if the quality looks better or not in the 1440p. I mean, it should. So let me know what you think, though, as we were getting a few laps under our belt in practice and then getting ready to go into qualifying as well. Earlier in the season, Las Vegas was a bit of an up and down race here. Qualifying pace usually is a lot stronger here for myself in a track like Vegas than our race pace. So I wouldn't be surprised if we qualified top 5, to be completely honest, now as we come through to start our qualifying lap. And it's so crucial to get a good qualifying effort now at this point, but especially with the playoff situation with Blaney at 15 above, Larson 13, Elliott 9 above, Hamlin 8 above, then Logano 8 below, Chastain and Byron and myself, though, all 20 points or worse below the cut line, with a lot of work to do as we come through at a turn 4 on lap number 1 of our qualifying attempt. We crossed the line. It was a pretty good lap. It put us at the top of the board, and it held on as we come through 3 and 4 for the final time on lap number 2. I said I wouldn't be surprised if we're top 5. Didn't quite expect this. Down the front straightaway through the tri-oval, we're going to put it on pole position here in Las Vegas by just almost a couple of tenths, as Kurt Busch would end up in second place over Hamlin, Larson, and Truex. As you can see, the rest of the qualifying order scrolling there on the left side. Leaderboard, Jay Cook, last week's winner. He starts there in 27th place, but he got his first win of his Cup Series career as a rookie at Charlotte Road Course in the last episode, but now we're back oval racing here, and we were starting P1 alongside Kurt Busch. Stages at the mile and a half with these 75 lap races have not changed. I'm still trying to experiment with feel and what not to see if we can find the right balance and stuff, but I'm still struggling to find that, to get the right balance with feel and tires and stuff. But hopefully we can get a little bit more better with it going into next season. But we are in control of the initial start. We are racing here from Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Kurt Busch in his final start at his home track here in the front row. Kyle Busch is well at his home track for the final time with Joe Gibbs Racing as we head down into turn 1. 18 laps in stage 1. Larson side by side with Hamlin in the background there, and Larson, as good of a season he has had, he's only 13 points above the cut line. That tells you how cutthroat and how close this round of racing in the playoffs is going to be as we head down through 3 and 4, and it could all be really drastically changed today if one of the drivers that's currently below the cut line, like a Logano, Chastain, Byron, or myself, pick up the victory. There you see William Byron 3 wide currently in the middle. We led the first and opening lap of this race, so no bonus points or anything like you used to get back in the day, so leading the laps doesn't really grant you anything other than you just want to lead the most important laps now. As you can see, myself still leading down this back straightaway. Martin Truex Jr. to my rear bumper as we head down towards turn 3. Chase Elliott there in third place as well. Elliott 9 points above the cut line coming into this race, and he is around the outside of the 19 of Truex there on the exit of turn 4. And as we came through to lap 5, Elliott had run me down as I get a little bit too close, and I actually clipped the apron there, so that slows me up on the exit of turn 2. Here comes Chase Elliott down the back straightaway looking at my inside. Down towards turn 3 we go, and he is going to be able to move past myself and try to bring the 45 of Kurt Busch with him. And look at the 24 of William Byron. Byron really quick early on in the day here in Las Vegas, and remember, he starts this round 26 points below the cut line. William Byron, it's been an interesting season for him. He hasn't even won a stage this season, but he has won a race. He did win at Auto Club, and that's what put him in the playoffs. He would have made the playoffs without that win. It's certainly important to mention that, but we would drop down to 4th place behind the 9, the 45, and the 24 until Elliott goes way up the track into turn 1 at lap 11, and that opens the door for the 45 to take the lead and myself to slip through into 3rd. So watch for moves like that today here as they were side by side for the lead shortly after. Byron to the the front, but here I go. 3 wide up the inside, showing these guys, hey, we are lucky as the Wood Brothers Racing team to be here in the round of 8, but we are not afraid to fight. Here we are going for the lead after starting on pole, but it was pretty obvious that although we started on pole, we didn't quite have the car that we had imagined having here. As we cross the line, Kurt Busch going to get back past me, so down to 3rd place we go again as we head into turn 1. Chase Elliott as well, trying to get up my inside, couldn't quite make anything happen right there, so trying to settle in to 3rd place here as Byron does the same thing Elliott did a few laps earlier. Way up the track he goes. Bubba Wallace is going to follow through into 3rd place, and now I'm up into 2nd, but then Byron would fight right back. He would get up into 3rd place. Positions were shuffling all over the place behind us. Elliott had fallen back. Larson had gotten back into the top 5. Byron was up my inside. Kurt Busch as well. We're all battling together as we start the final lap of stage number 1, and all of a sudden, I just kind of found myself randomly back in the battle for the stage win, but using this outside momentum to my advantage here as we head down the back straightaway. Had to back out of it a little bit on the exit of the corner, but we have a big run here down this back stretch into turn 3 for the final time. Kurt Busch on the inside. We're going to get up into the outside wall and throw any chance of a stage win away. Here comes Kyle Larson on the exit of turn 4, bringing Elliott and Truex as well. Kurt Busch is going to hang on for the stage win. Larson gets the 2nd. 3 Hendrick cars in the top 5. As you can see, the 48 nowhere to be found, but we crossed the line. Getting stage points, which was nice, but still not as many as we certainly could have if I didn't bang down the wall. You see the back part of the grid all coming in with some notables of Kyle Busch, Reddick, Cindric as well. As you can see, Stenhouse back there, but the first half of the field getting ready to go back green for the start of stage 2. Now the pace car pulls off. Kurt Busch will lead the field back to the green flag here in stage 2 as we are underway. As you see, Byron, I'm really paying attention to that number 24 Liberty University machine of William Byron today, because they seem to have a lot of speed, and we haven't seen much speed out of that car. They've been consistent to, of course, make the playoffs, but not much more. But here they are showing up in the round of 8. They have barely made it through, to just kind of comfortably get into the round of 8, but they've just kind of rode through the playoffs so far, and here they are. Kind of like myself in this 21 car, we haven't had a lot of pace in this 21 car in the playoffs, but we have had enough to just kind of carry us through into the round of 8. And as well, some drivers having some misfortune has certainly played into my favor. But here we are through 1 and 2, passing the 9 of Chase Elliott there, so we're back into the top 5, running 4th place as we head down this back stretch. But then you can see the battles would continue on here. I was falling off as stage 2 was starting to progress on. Chase Elliott up my inside past me. Denny Hamlin up my inside. We were 3 wide briefly, actually, with him and his teammate of the 19 of Martin Truex Jr. there. So we get past the 19 at least, or hold him off I should say, but Hamlin had completed the pass on us, so we're down to P6. You saw a moment right there, getting loose on the exit of turn 2, that over the door for my alliance teammate of Ryan Blaney to slip up the inside and pass me as well. We continue to drop down the order. And you can see as well in the rearview mirror, there's going to be some of those fresher tires coming up here momentarily as well, which is going to be another problem. Fortunately, track position has proven to be quite important here in Las Vegas. So there's going to be some drivers on the fresh tires that are going to be absolutely flying contact with Martin Truex Jr. right there. As you can see, though, a few laps later, the 42 of Ty Dillon, he was the first car on fresh tires, and he was cruising past me on the inside. I didn't really have much with him, or for him, I should say, as we're all over the back of the 19, but they would both stay ahead of me. And now, surprisingly, in the final 10 laps of stage 2, we're still running P10, but the cars started to kind of switch back to the pace that we had earlier in the day. Here we are now going around the outside of Kurt Busch. We would pass him, and all of a sudden we're up to P8. Well, now we're passing Truex again. We're up to P7. So we had spent 3/4 of stage 2 falling backwards, and now in this last quarter of the stage, we're moving back forwards here now to the outside of the FedEx Toyota Camry of Denny Hamlin, and this is going to be a potential another pass here into turn 1 as we're way up the track, and unfortunately didn't quite work out because, well, look at that. For the second time today, I get in the wall. This time, it's going to take me outside of the top 10, so trying to balance out getting that momentum on the outside versus the risk that comes along with it. Well, I didn't balance it out very well, obviously, so we drop outside of the top 10 behind another playoff contender, Joey Logano. I'm in the wall again, but certainly not not as hard as the 6-car Brad Keselowski as he got plowed into the outside wall, as no caution's going to come out. There's the rookie making his second start of his Cup Series career. That's Austin Hill. Made a start earlier in the season at Michigan. Didn't do great, but it wasn't too bad either. And here he is now towards the top 10. As I forgot to mention, that was the final lap of stage 2, sorry. So William Byron won stage 2, actually, out in front, over Ty Dillon, Chase Elliott, Blaney Bowman as well. And we would all head down into the pit lane. There was a couple cars that remained on the racetrack, but we are going to get 4 tires and get back rolling here. It's a decent pit stop from the team. It's going to get us in front of the 19 of Truex as we actually get a speeding penalty. Yep, I sped, and that's going to drop us to the back of the pack. I think that's the second or third time this season I've done that. I had the first pit stall, and I thought that I wouldn't hit the pit limit speed by the time I got to the end of the commitment line, so I just kind of hammered the gas pedal and just tried to get what I could, and obviously we paid the price for it. We're back on the way for stage 3, and well, you know what? We have a lot of work to do, and you can see an absolutely abysmal restart for the 17 of Chris Buescher. He really held up the outside line, so that actually made my job significantly easier than it just was about 20 seconds ago, but we still have a lot of ground to make up. Problem is, passing, it's a little bit difficult here at times in Vegas, and I'm going to have to really use up my tires if I want to get moving forward here, and that's going to be a problem later on in the stage as the tires wear. William Byron out in front. Byron got his first stage win of the season here in stage 2. Is this a sign of things to come? Is he going to be able to get his first win of the playoffs, the second win of the season, the most important win maybe of his career, because it would, for the first time in his Cup Series career, put him into the Final 4, as we are looking at, we're probably going to be 30 some odd points out right now if we can't get inside the top 10, so it's absolutely crucial to get into a top 10 here. And I was abusing these tires. I was into the top 25, but still a lot of work to be done. Here's Chastain way up the track. I'm nearly into the side, a fellow rookie of Jay Cook, but Chastain was falling backwards. It's always good when you have your competitors falling backwards. Chastain, my teammate for next season there, as you guys already know, we are going to Trackhouse Racing there, so that's going to be a very fun adventure, and an exciting adventure, I should say, now as we come through out of turn 4, passing the 18 of Kyle Busch. We're 22nd place right now, and we just haven't gone as far as I thought we could have. We got passed again by the 18, but look at this massive swarm of cars right here. There's so many positions up for grabs because of some drivers up front on older tires that stayed out at the end of stage 2, so this was really backing up some drivers. One of them was the 77 right there that I'm absolutely blowing the doors off of. Another one was the 7, both the Spire cars actually. As you can see myself, 3 wide in the middle. As we're slicing and dicing, this moves us into the top 20, so we get up to P17 behind my alliance teammate of Cindric as we head down into turn 3 up ahead. The number 5, that's Kyle Larson, out of the race potentially there as he crashes on the exit of turn 4. The caution is out. Suarez got a piece of it as well, and Kyle Larson, who's been one of the best drivers all season long, has absolutely been KO'd after that contact right there with Joey Logano, playoff competitor, and Suarez nowhere to go. And actually, remember when Brad Keselowski crashed earlier? Watch this. So it was actually contact with Kyle Larson, so Larson almost got a bit of payback from Joey Logano there, but Kyle Larson would go 5 laps down due to that damage, and now he is not going to be able to make that up unless we have an absolute crash fest, which, as we've seen today, is not going to happen. We're going to only have 20 laps of racing to go here from Las Vegas, and you've got to be kidding me now. The number 9 of Chase Elliott does not go off the restart, so now we just gave up, half the positions we had just worked on gaining. We're down to 26 as we head down into turn 1. Chase Elliott, though, things aren't looking good for him either. He's going backwards as we came through 1 and 2, but he would be able to stay ahead of me briefly. I was trying to pass the 20 of Christopher Bell, and I would pass him on the exit of 4, and we would be battling with Chase Elliott, get clear of him, so trying to drive away. But you can see, look at the separation it created in this pack, and here comes Christopher Bell back to my outside as I got loose on the inside apron. A little bit of contact with it right there, so Bell gets back past me. It wasn't over. We have enough pace to pass this 20 back here, so here I am back up the inside, and we're going to complete the pass on the 20 of Bell. Next up was the Spire cars of the 7 and the 77, so I get up the inside of LaJoy. We're actually going to use him up a little bit there on the exit of turn 4. We complete the pass, and then we have the number 77 now of Josh Balicki to navigate around, and this was an easy pass. But now I got past them, and that was it. Look at that, up in front of us. We're up to P18, but the cars are long gone in front of me. Nothing we can really do except drive as hard as possible, you know, and maybe hope for a caution, put tires on it, and fly past everybody. I don't know at this point, but this has not turned into the race we were hoping for, to say the least. You know, late race update, William Byron out in front, and it's looking pretty hard to make the pass on that number 24 Liberty University machine. It's Suarez and Dillon behind him. Not many playoff drivers up here. It's Byron, and then you got to look back to Joey Logano, actually. So Logano having a good run, Blaney having a good run as well. Larson's actually in the mix. He's just 5 laps down, so a bit awkward for him. Austin Hill inside the top 10 right now, having a great run in his second ever race in the NASCAR Cup Series, and you can see at the tail end of that group Kyle Busch. But I actually had Bubba Wallace run me down pretty quickly, and I didn't have a whole lot of pace for that 23 of Bubba Wallace here. Less than 10 laps to go, and here he is up by inside as we head down into turn 1, and he is going to be able to complete the pass, so that puts us down to 19th place. And you can see we had closed in a little bit on that big group of cars ahead of us, but unfortunately my tires just kept on, you know, wearing, and I kept on struggling to gain ground. We got a little bit closer to the number 1 of Ross Chastain, but it wouldn't get really any closer than this right here. You can see I just can't do much now as I'm kind of plowing on the exit of these corners. We cut straight through to the final lap, and you can see I didn't get anywhere. I was planted right here at 19th place, so this is not going to be a good day for the points situation, to say the least. But you know who it is going to be a good day for? The 24 of William Byron, who dominated since stage 2. Out of turn 4, the number 24, William Byron, will come through to hold off Daniel Suarez for the win in Vegas, and he, most importantly, punches his ticket for the first time in his Cup Series career to the Final Four, as he will fight for a Cup Series title at Phoenix Raceway in a few episodes' time at the end of this first season, as we end up P19. And of course, the big question that's just most important of all is, how does this affect the playoff grid? And you're going to see that right here. We are 35 points out. We have an absolutely massive amount of work to do. Chastain's in a really rough spot too, but then Larson, with his issues, is now below the cut line. Logano is only out by 1 behind Elliott. By Hamlin, he's, you know, almost 10 points above. Not very comfortable. Ryan Blaney is not even comfortable either. So no one's really comfortable, but myself and Chastain have a massive amounts of work to do going into the next 2 races with, of course, Miami and Martinsville. So there's some interesting races on the way. I don't have any flight simulator today. I just simply didn't have an opportunity to get it there. So it'll be back next episode. But yeah, that's going to wrap it up for me. In the next one, we head to Homestead, Miami. I will see you guys then. Have a great day, everybody.